Mike, thank you. Janine Washle from Cloverfield's Farm and Kitchen is in our kitchen this morning to share a recipe that lets you use the bounty of the garden.
That's right.
If your garden is growing anything. Mine is not. We've been discussing that as well, but those heirloom tomatoes are coming in, so this is a real easy dinner that you can make. Serves people for several days too.
It sure does, because I think that the leftovers might just be a little better than the actual meal, and the meal is fantastic.
This is an American goulash, which a goulash is a Hungarian stew.
Exactly.
Okay.
And for years, my husband, has asked, will you make some goulash? So I make either German goulash or Hungarian goulash, and every time he looks disappointed. So it's become this kind of dreaded word, would you try to make some goulash? So finally, and only a couple of weeks ago, I found a new recipe, and it was called American goulash. It's a vintage recipe, and I thought, well, let me see. I'm just going to make it and just see what he says.
Okay.
And he was ecstatic. He said, you found it. You're making goulash. And
is the ground beef what makes it American?
I think so. Now, it nods to Hungarian goulash with beef and tomatoes. After that, it's different.
Okay.
The spices are different. Well, here are the spices. So why don't you add them in, and we'll talk about it. It's oregano, basil, so you can use basil out of your garden if you have it, and a couple of bay leaves.
Okay.
And then you can fish them out, as is.
The flavor cooks in.
You got it. Seasoning salt and some pepper.
Okay.
So that's that. And no paprika, you might have noticed. Worcestershire sauce.
That would have made it Hungarian for sure if you put the paprika in there.
Worcestershire sauce.
Okay.
And I've already cooked 2 pounds of ground beef with 1.5 cups of onion and some garlic.
Okay.
And the exact recipe will be on your all's website, and you can make it tonight if you want to. So now you can use one of the larger cans of tomato sauce or home canned tomato sauce. Just use 2 cups of it.
Okay, all this goes in.
All of it goes in.
Okay.
So you see, it's very easy, less than an hour, and you will be done. If you do it in an instant pot,
will make it faster. I love
30 minutes.
That's how I do it.
And that's 3 cups of garden fresh tomatoes or 2 cans of diced tomatoes.
Watch out, I don't want this to splatter on either one of us. I've got a red dress, but here we go.
Okay, awesome.
Now you've got noodles. You've got a tip to share before we run out of time on how to do the noodles.
So usually we hear, do not coat your noodles with oil. In this case, you absolutely want to, or if you're making soups later on this fall, you definitely want to, because then you can add your macaroni or your pasta and it will not absorb your sauce.
Okay, so if you're going to use the noodles for a soup, that's when you should coat them in oil.
You got it.
So this is our finished product after
it's
cooked. So these tomatoes are going to cook down.
Yes.
And then we've got our finished product.
After about 30 minutes, you end up with this.
Bowl.
Why don't you put some macaroni on top, because that is iconic to it.
Really
and this is called American goulash. You can
yum.
This is it. And then you can garnish with a little bit of cheddar. And there you go.
There you have it. Well, that looks delicious, Janine. She'll share this recipe and more with you. You just go to the mornings section of WDRB.com. We'll link you up with her information. Thank you.
You're welcome.